Just waiting here, folks, to see if I'm live. Waiting for the miracle of the internet. Here we go. Okay, we are live.
I was in the land of cotton, old times there are not forgotten. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. In Dixieland where I was born, and early on one frosty morning. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. And I wish I was in Dixie, hooray, hooray. In Dixieland I'll take my stand to live and die in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie. Oh, Mrs. Married William Weaver, William was a gay deceiver. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. But when he put his arms around her, smile as fierce as a 40-pounder. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. And I wish I was in Dixie, hooray, hooray. In Dixieland I'll take my stand to live and die in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie. His face was sharp as a butcher's cleaver, but that did not seem to grieve her. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. Oh, Mrs. acted the foolish part and died for the man that broke her heart. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. And I wish I was in Dixie, hooray, hooray. In Dixieland I'll take my stand to live and die in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie. Now here's a health to the next door missus and all the gals that wanna kiss us. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. And if you want to drive away sorrow, come and hear the song tomorrow. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. And I wish I was in Dixie. Hooray, hooray. In Dixieland I'll take my stand to live and die for Dixie. Away, away down south in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie.
Amen. Way down deep in Dixie, where I want to be. Folks, this is Randy of All Roads Lead Home Genealogy and Colonel Randall Rhodes of the Carolina Gray Ghost Tarheel Division Communications Officer. Trying something a little bit different. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. Good afternoon to David Nobar and Zach Rayleigh. You are the first two people to join me, and I hope there'll be many more to come. The topic for today is not politics. It is not religion. It is um, about the gray ghosts. It is about why we, as members of the gray ghosts, um, chose him as our leader. Just give me 1 second here, folks. I apologize. So, I belong to a group called the Gray Ghosts, obviously, right? And I was actually chosen. People reached out to me, specifically General Michael Miskowski. He and I had a friendship that goes back a year or so ago. Um, he was one of my clients for a period of time to do his family history to find his connection to the Confederates. And what I think really tied our friendship more so than others is because as I was working on his family tree, I found some really neat stuff. And I wanted to send it to him as a message using Facebook Messenger. But instead, I actually hit the little telephone at the top of the messenger screen and actually called his house. And I don't know if it's because of my way my phone is with the screen protector, or because I got a big finger, but I'm here, pushing down. Hang up, hang up. Oh, hi, General Mikowski, and he was in some type of I wanted the word. He needed help, and he really couldn't talk. He was gasping for air. All I could get out as they poisoned me. They poisoned me. I'm sick. I need help. I need help. And I asked him for good afternoon, Mr. Horn. How you doing today? This broadcast is going to be like a half hour so long. And it is about the gray ghosts. And I got some video to show, which I actually picked that I thought was pretty cool to get started. Because it's going to be a series about the gray ghost and about the various battles that they were involved in. But what I was able to get out of him was that he needed medical attention immediately. And he tried to give me his address, but I thought, there's something I got to do. I can't waste time on the phone here. So I reached out to my daughter. I said, Rebecca, how do I find 911 for his area in a different state? Because I know if I called 911 in my area, that's going to be for local to Pennsylvania. So luckily, because I'm doing his family tree, I was able to go on into his tree and pull up some information that I found about him previously. And guess what? I found his address. That's right. I found his address using Ancestry. And thankfully, it was his current address. He had not moved because, in someone's lifetime, you tend to move several times. So luckily, the addresses that Ancestry had for him was the most active one he had. So I called 911 for that state, told them who I was. They thought I was nuts. But I told them who I was, what was going on. I gave them the address. And thankfully, they sent out an ambulance to his home to find out that he was in the middle of having a heart attack, as well as having a massive case of pneumonia. So they actually took him to the hospital where he stayed for several days. So I look at it as a thing is that I probably saved his life because of calling 911 for him. Good afternoon, Joy Ray Gothier. Welcome to my broadcast. We're talking about the Gray Ghosts. Talking about General Michael Miskowski, who was one of the commanders of the Gray Ghosts, the Carolina Gray Ghosts Home Guard Volunteers, here on Facebook. General Miskowski knew about my work with doing genealogy, and that the massive respect I had among the people from the South. I have many other clients who were from the South seeking out their connection. So he actually chose me to be the genealogist for the Grey Ghost for the uh, uh, at that point it was like 5 states that he was a member of. Since then, some things changed around, and now I'm the communications officer for the Carolina Grey Ghost Home Guard Volunteers, of which General Alex Wissenut uh, is the commander above Michael. Of course, he's my general, and he's also one of my most recent clients for finding family history. So I'm pleased that both of them are my clients, as well as Matthew Horn and Zach here on Facebook. That in the comment section, they are also members of my genealogy tree. So I wanted to do something to introduce the folks who follow me to the Grey Ghost. I have 3 videos. They're short. I'm going to share them, talk about them, and hopefully, someone in the comment section will have some desire to become part of the conversation or ask questions of me. Otherwise, this is just going to be me here talking to you, which is fine. But I would love to have an interaction of people to discuss things. So these, like I said, these are short videos. I did not create them; they are created by other folks, which I'm going to give a shout out to them. The first one is from Studio J Files. It's called Grey Ghost 1, which makes me think there must be like a Grey Ghost 2, Grey Ghost 3. But for today, we're just going to do Grey Ghost 1. It's a 3-minute video, and it talks about General John Mosby, of which this group, I want to say, is given honor to, or somehow given on a pedestal. But this is a general. What I've found, first off, I'm a Yankee. I was a Yankee with South flowing through my blood. I want to make sure that up, because there are some folks out there who may who have in the past tried to cause problems for me, saying I'm a Yankee. What am I doing talking about the South? Yes, I'm a Yankee. I was born in Pennsylvania. My parents were born in Pennsylvania. My grandparents were born in Pennsylvania. However, I love the South. I love everything about the South, and my respect goes out to all the people who fought for the South. And I just, if I could change my birth state or change my parents to be born in the South, trust me, I would do it. But unfortunately, that you can't go backwards in time, right? Well, maybe you can. Yeah, we're coming up with that type of technology. But I am a Yankee. I love the South. I always say that if you cut my veins, I'll bleed Dixie. And that's what I truly believe. But the General Mosby is the general of the Grey Ghost. And what we're trying to do, when I first got more involved with folks from the South and became aware of, the CSA2, the SCV, the SIA, and others, 3-letter groups that represent the South and the Confederacy. I often thought to myself, and seeing and interacting with some of the folks from those various groups, it kind of like blows my mind, is that some of these folks don't like each other, right? They don't like certain things about certain groups, right? And I'm thinking to myself, aren't we all trying to bring together the South? Aren't we all trying to reimagine a Southern country, a country where the states have been able to secede from the North? Aren't we all trying to finish the job that our ancestors did when they went to war against the North? But it seems like we can't get together. We can't merge into one cohesive group, to be a stronger voice. So what I'm hoping to do here, by exposing folks who may not be a member of the Grey Ghost, but to see, hey, we're on your side. We wanted the South to win. We're here. We're supporting the generals who fought during this war. We want to be one unit. Come on, join us. Let us join your groups. Let us become one big family of Southern people who love Dixie and who want only the best for it. When I see the movie about Gettysburg, and I saw how the troops, the Southern troops lined up facing the cannon fire, knowing that more than likely they're going to die that day. Okay, and knowing that I just Matthew Horn, his one ancestor, had his head blown off by a cannonball. When I saw how he died, I could not believe it. My mind blew. Can you imagine facing a cannon fire and this ball's coming right at you, and there ain't shit you can do? The next thing you know is your head's laying over there and your body's over here. I've seen reports where they claim, I haven't really dug into it, but they claim that people who are beheaded, okay, the mind still has a few seconds left that it works. And the eyes are looking, and the mind is saying, holy shit, that's my body laying there, before the brain actually shuts down. So if that is true, can you imagine Matthew Horn's ancestor laying there, his head's here, his body's there, and he's looking at his body saying, my God, what happened? Click. And he goes and he dies. But what I'm trying to say is these men by the thousands lined up and had this huge open field. So they had to cross to get to where they were within rifle range of the Northern troops. Meanwhile, they're being shot at by cannons and cannons and cannons and cannons and cannons. The amount of respect and trust in your general and your colonel and your major and your lieutenant to know that you're going to follow them possibly to your death. That's the South I want to try and hope for today. That we can get the people from the South to come together with that kind of strength, that kind of respect and love for each other. This is bullshit when you can't get along with people who are from the South just because you belong to a different group or you follow a different general. So I'm going to play these videos. First one's called Grey Ghost 1 by Studio J Files. It's only like 3 minutes long, but I liked it. I thought this is a great way to start off with my introduction to videos to the Grey Ghosts. So here we go, folks, and let me know, guys, if the audio and the clarity of the video is good, because I want to make sure you guys can see this and hear it for all of its intensity. Okay.
Here is a story about a Civil War soldier who went from being a feared guerrilla leader to a symbol of reconciliation and unity, a man who embraced the spirit of the West to heal the wounds of war. This is the story of John S. Mosby, the Grey Ghost. Before the war, Mosby was a lawyer in Virginia. When the conflict broke out, he enlisted in the Confederate Army and quickly gained a reputation for his cunning tactics and elusiveness. He formed the 43rd Battalion, Virginia Cavalry, a group of partisan rangers who carried out daring raids and evaded Union forces with uncanny skill. Their exploits earned Mosby the nickname Grey Ghost. But the war couldn't last forever. In April 1865, General Robert E. Lee surrendered at Appomattox, marking the beginning of the end for the Confederacy. Mosby, stubborn and proud, refused to accept defeat. For months, he and his men continued to fight, unwilling to lay down their arms. But eventually, even the Grey Ghost had to face reality. In June 1865, Mosby disbanded his Rangers and reluctantly surrendered. But instead of dwelling on defeat, he chose to move forward and help heal a divided nation. Mosby traveled west to San Francisco, leaving behind the battlefields and hardships of war. In California, he found a new life and a chance to start over. In San Francisco, Mosby studied law once again and soon established himself as a respected lawyer. But the most surprising twist in his story came in 1878, when none other than President Ulysses S. Grant, a former Union general, appointed Mosby as the acting U.S. consul to Hong Kong. Despite their past as enemies, Grant recognized Mosby's intelligence and potential to bring about change. This act of forgiveness and unity was a testament to the healing power of reconciliation, as two former foes put aside their differences for the sake of the nation. Mosby's time in Hong Kong was marked by his efforts to combat corruption, protect American interests, and represent the United States with dignity. He served as a diplomat until 1885, when he returned to the United States and continued his work as a lawyer. In his later years, Mosby became a symbol of the healing and unity that emerged in the wake of the Civil War. He wrote and spoke about his experiences, sharing his story with others in the hopes of fostering understanding and camaraderie between the North and the South. So, let the story of John S. Mosby, the Gray Ghost, be a reminder to us all that even in the darkest times, there's always a chance for redemption, healing, and unity. As long as we're willing to look past our differences and work together for the greater good, there's nothing we can't overcome.
Excellent. Excellent. Folks, did you hear what he was saying? Forgiveness, unity, reconciliation, right? Respect, friendship. Even though he fought for the South and killed countless hundreds of Union soldiers, President Grant still respected his knowledge and his ability to get the job done. So, folks, like I said, when I first started getting involved more with the South and trying to myself to even join, I wanted to join the SCV because I do have relatives ancestors who fought for the South. Okay. And I went through all the paperwork to get done to find out that because of the rules that I couldn't use the one guy that I did, but I had others who fought for the South. I had my clients and friends of mine who said, you can join the SCV as a friend. I can get you in as a friend of mine into the SCV. So I thought that's cool because here I am with these flags behind me showing the respect for the South because these were gifts to me from one of my clients who is the Southerner who loves what I've done for his research. He gave me 4 flags plus a hat. Okay. I want to be part. I want to do more from my office, my desk. I got a real nice setup here. I got 2 32-inch dual monitors. I got a high-speed computer. I got great tools to be, if nothing else, a voice for the South to help, I don't know, do something, right? And can you believe someone's called the SCV and lodged some kind of complaint against my personality, my character, that they thought I was not fit to be a Southerner, to be a member of the SCV. My character. And the SCV would not tell me what the complaint was so I could maybe defend myself, maybe ask forgiveness, maybe say, no, that's not right. I didn't say or do that. But the only way the SCV will allow me to challenge it is to be a member of the SCV so I can challenge it. Well, how can I challenge it if I'm not an SCV member? So at least I am a member of the SIA, the Southern Independence Association, under Mindy Esposito Hergert, who happens to be one of my clients. Okay. So I try to do these things here that you're seeing now, and that's my way of giving to the cause. But General Mosby, even though he fought and killed and destroyed, even though he lost men, he killed men on the north side, and he lost men on his side. Even when the war ended, he came out as someone that the people in the north saw and realized they could use him for the common good of the nation, making him this representative to Hong Kong. Okay. Why can't we today forgive and forget? Why can't we today become one unified voice? I don't know. I don't know. Hey, John Ball, how you doing, sir? Thank you for coming on board here. Today's broadcast is only going to be, wow, we're already a half hour into it. It's going to be probably about an hour concerning the Grey Ghosts, concerning my membership of the Grey Ghosts Tarheel division, the volunteers, and the general with whom we chose to create a group to give respect to and give honor to. So I'm going to reel up the next video here. I saw this one. This one here I liked. I like this one a lot. It is short. It is brief, but it makes sense for what I'm trying to do here today, which is to introduce you folks to our joint ancestor, General John Mosby himself, of the Grey Ghosts. So here it goes, guys. Love the beard.
Buford T. Cletus signing in. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Today's video is on Colonel John Mosby. I hope y'all enjoyed as much as I did doing the research on him. Y'all stay tuned, and we got to hear from our buddies over at TubeBuddy, your one-stop shop for everything you need to help out your video quality. You can make your thumbnails, get your keywords, your tags. Everything you need is in TubeBuddy. So give it a check, man. Come on. The link will be in the description below. And the link is up here somewhere. Try TubeBuddy out. Won't you? We'll see y'all later. Like I say, today's video is on Colonel John Mosby. He was a cavalryman and he served under Jeb Stuart. And I hope y'all enjoy this video as much as I do, enjoy putting them all together for you. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, I hope y'all liked that little piece of information on Colonel John Mosby. He was a part of the American Civil War. He was a cavalryman under Jeb Stuart. But for now, this is Sheriff Buford T. Cletus signing out. And remember, people, if you see somebody out there that don't have a smile, please give them one and make their day. All right? Y'all come back now. You hear?
Thank you for watching.
Now, see, that's one of the things I like about the folks in the South. If you see someone who's not smiling, give them a smile. Make their day. You wouldn't hear that from a person in the North. You wouldn't. They could care less if you had a smile on your face or felt good or trying to make them have a better day than what they're probably having. And that's what I like about the South. The people in the South, they stand out for each other. They help each other. You know? Can you imagine starting out in a combat street as a private and winding up being a 3-star? I guess he's 3-star general. I'm still learning, folks. So please forgive me if I give improper information about ranks and so forth. I'm still learning the uniforms. So I'm working on that. Trust me. But yeah, so John Mosby, loved by his men, to even after the war ended and your commanding General Lee, surrendered, and you're still willing to follow your commander into battle, knowing that you could face the hanging because the war has ended, but here you're still fighting. So it could be made worse for you. But that's the way they were. The men in the South had respect for commanding officers. Something you don't see in the northern armies. So far, folks, any questions about what we're looking at here? Any comments? Anything you want to chime in here with? I'll wait a moment or two, and we'll see what happens here, okay? I will, while you guys are thinking, I started printing out some of the battles that he was involved in. And I was going over one here about his clash against George Custer in the Shenandoah Valley. And I did a quick perusal of the content of the information about it. And I'll share some of this with you. With the start of hostilities, Mosby enlisted the cavalry and, like Custer, took part in the Bull Run campaign. After being attached to Major General Jeb Stuart's staff, Mosby organized independent ranger operations in Virginia in early 1863, beginning with a unit of only 9 men. Mosby adapted quickly to this irregular form of warfare, and after a skirmish, Mosby's men returned to their own homes rather than to camp, agreeing to meet again at a future date and place. So imagine this. This is kind of like how back in the colonial with the Revolutionary War, people leave their farms, they leave their stores, go off, they would fight, they'd kill, and then go back home, plant a few of the crops, or harvest a few of the crops, or take care of some livestock. Then they go back out into war again. Each man acquired his own horse, arms, and uniforms, but was entitled to share in whatever public or personal property was captured. So they not only fought, they would also help themselves to the booty of what they would come across in their strays of battle. So I can see some ravaging of homes or businesses, and then share the proceeds amongst them. But you know what? The North did the exact same thing. In fact, I was going through here. Mosby did not wait long to greet the invaders. In the early morning mist of August 13th, while a large federal wagon rested near Berryville, Virginia, a group of men approached out of the fog and started to set up 2 small cannons. None of the Northern Guards paid much attention, figuring they must be friendly troops. They were stupid. Southern cannon blasts at federal wagons, decapitating a mule with one of the first shells and setting fire to a number of wagons. Mules still hitched to the burning wagons ran in terror, dragging behind them and roared infernos. Oh, that's, don't get me wrong, a decapitation of a human being is one thing, but animals, they don't know. They're just there to do their job and make their masters happy. So that's why I feel so, when I see that kind of stuff, I hear about that kind of stuff, I like, oh, no, he didn't do, no, oh, come on. But, war is war. War is devastating, And the more that the Mosby's raiders succeeded in their battle, the harsher the Union devastation on Southern farmers were. The Union soldiers would go through towns and burn the homes, burn the farms, and devastate the landscape because of their anger towards Mosby's men. And I guess the same happened on the side of the Southern Army too, but right now we're not talking about that. So I just got let's see, what's the message here? Oh, okay. So I got one more video to share here. This one here is from Lionheart Filmworks. It's 8 minutes long. I might watch all of it. It's a really good video. It's put together very well. It's called Colonel John S. Mosby's Confederate Cavalry Rangers. I thought he was a general. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Colonel John S. Mosby's Confederate Cavalry Rangers, A Civil War History. So here we go, folks. Ba 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 boo boo ba. Oh, okay. Hold on a second, folks.
While cavalrymen from both the Union.
My apologies. There you go.
I am not ashamed of having fought on the side of slavery. A soldier fights for his country, right or wrong. He's not responsible for the political merits of the course he fights in. The South was my country.
Initially, John Singleton Mosby, is opposed to the South's secession from the United States. However, a sense of loyalty to the country he calls home persuades Mosby to enlist as a private in the Confederate Army at the outset of the American Civil War. After serving under William Grumble Jones in the Washington Mounted Rifles and later the Virginia Volunteers, General Jeb Stuart takes notice of Mosby's aptitude for intelligence gathering. Mosby is promoted to first lieutenant and assigned to the general's cavalry scouts. While cavalrymen from both the Union and the Confederacy will develop into invaluable and formidable fighters, at the beginning of the Civil War, Southerners are thought to have a distinct advantage as horsemen. In the less urbanized South, horses are used more for personal transportation, rather than for pulling carts, wagons, and streetcars, as they are in the cities of the North. The Confederate cavalryman, much like Rogers Rangers and other early irregulars, is more suited for guerrilla combat tactics over rough roads, through unforgiving forests, and all manner of typically unpassable areas, all on horseback.
This is the pink salt recipe that took me from
we have a commercial.
179 to 126 in just weeks. You know what the best part is? It's now.
In June of 1863, under the authority of General Robert E. Lee, John Mosby forms and assumes command of the 43rd Battalion, Virginia Cavalry. The battalion is later more famously known as Mosby's Raiders.
The indomitable and irrepressible Mosby is again in the saddle, carrying destruction and consternation in his path. One day in Richmond, wounded and eliciting the sympathy of everyone capable of appreciating the daring deeds of the boldest and most successful partisan leader the war has produced. 3 days afterwards, surprising and scattering a Yankee force at Salem as if they were frightened sheep fleeing before a hungry wolf.
In 1862, the Confederate Congress had passed the Partisan Ranger Act in an effort to stimulate recruitment of irregular soldiers. Throughout the rest of the Civil War, Mosby's Raiders, often under cover of night, execute small raids with units of 20 to 80 men behind Union lines. Their objectives complete, the partisans then swiftly retreat, often dispersing throughout the area and hiding on farms or in areas that are sympathetic to the rebels. In 1906, John W. Munson, one of Mosby's Raiders, publishes a memoir detailing his life and exploits with the Raiders, including details about their uniform requirements, or lack thereof.
Something gray was the one requisite of our dress, and the cost of it mattered little. Much of it was paid for by Uncle Sam out of the money we got from him directly and indirectly.
Only when performing raids are Mosby's Raiders sporting anything resembling the proper Confederate uniform. The tactics used by the Raiders often make traveling in uniform a hindrance. The mounted guerrillas of Mosby's Raiders, though essentially cavalrymen, also hold little regard for the traditional weaponry of combat on horseback. Unwieldy and inaccurate while riding, the musket proves more useful in the hands of Mosby's Raiders as a club when pulled from the hands of a Union cavalryman in a skirmish. Instead, Mosby's men each carry 2 44 Colt Army revolvers, and when the Union forces begin to notice their usefulness in the hands of the partisans, soon Northern cavalry units begin to favor the pistol as well. One piece of cavalry gear that Mosby has no use for is the saber. Munson continues,
I never actually saw blood drawn with a saber but twice in our war, though I saw them flash by the thousands at Brandy Station. Mosby used to say they were as useless against a skillfully handled revolver as a wooden sword of harlequins.
If you're anywhere here in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Delaware, and you have an old, cracked, stained garage floor like this one,
it is a true testament to the first truth of the Special Forces: humans over hardware. Mosby's men even facing criticism from fighters on their own side who decry the raiders' abandonment of more traditional tactics and weaponry, continue to harass and successfully elude Union forces. While analysts and historians struggle to define Mosby's raiders' overall contribution to the Confederate war effort, it is known that Grant expended great resources to protect Federal troops from the partisans. After Mosby and his men derailed a train and captured $170,000 of Federal payroll, it becomes necessary for the Federal troops to guard every wagon train, railroad bridge, and camp with enough active and efficient men to prevent Mosby from using his 300 raiders in one of his destructive rushes at any hour of the day or night. General Grant, at one point, reports that 17,000 of his men are engaged in keeping Mosby from attacking his weak points, and thus away from active service on the firing line. Finally, it is not even safe to send dispatches by a courier unless a regiment is sent along to guard him. While the raiders definitely proved themselves a force to be reckoned with, the irregulars still face the same criticism given to earlier such units. As with Rogers' Rangers during the Revolution, much of it from their own side. In 1864, bowing to pressure from high-ranking Confederate generals, the Confederate Congress deauthorizes partisan or irregular units, allowing only 2 to continue its operation. One of them, of course, is Mosby's Raiders. This distinction is short-lived, but soon replaced with another. The following year brings Robert E. Lee's surrender at Appomattox. Shortly thereafter, Mosby contacts Union Major General Winfield S. Hancock to negotiate a surrender in Winchester, Virginia. When the 2 men are unable to come to agreeable terms, Mosby instead decides to disband the 43rd Battalion, effectively never surrendering. Mosby speaks to his troops on April 21st, 1865.
I disband your organization in preference to surrendering it to our enemies. I am no longer your commander. After an association of more than 2 eventful years, I part from you with a just pride in the fame of your achievements and grateful recollections of your generous kindness to myself. And now, at this moment of bidding you a final adieu, accept the assurance of my unchanging confidence and regard. Farewell.
And there
Thanks
you
for
have
watching. If you'd like to help us produce more compelling...
And there you have it. He never truly, officially surrendered to the Union. But did you pick up one thing he did say? That when General Grant wanted to get a message through the lines, he couldn't just send a messenger or 2. He had to send a regiment to protect those guys because of the audacity of the Mosby's men to effectively find, seek out, search, destroy, take prisoners. Yeah, it speaks highly of their capabilities. So, guys, this actually went a lot longer than I wanted it to. Again, I was hoping for interaction, but that's fine. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast and what it represents, which essentially, Mosby wanted his first of all, you also hear where he didn't agree with slavery or so many other things that the country stood for politically. He went to war to protect his land, to protect his country, his family, not because of politics or because of slavery, but to protect that which was his. It speaks highly of the man. And I go back to, what I was saying earlier is that if we, and I include me in when I talk about the South, okay? And if anyone is upset about that, I apologize. But I looked at myself as being a member of the Southern society, the Southern family, because that's, if I had a choice, I would rather have been born Southern. But the way they fought, the respect their men had, the respect that the officers and commanders had for them, the respect of even after the war, what the Grant and our government had for Mosby. We need the same thing for ourselves today. If we expect anything to come the good, to strengthen the South, to maybe have hope one day we might have a Southern country, or at least the respect of our statues, our monuments, our cemeteries, our dead, that we got to come together as one unit under one command and staff. If you went to war, when you go to the war, you have to have a command and staff, followed by staff officers, followed by the enlisted, all step in unison to cause the common good to be the success of the end of that campaign. From what I see as an outsider, because in respect, I'm an outsider to the South, because you guys really haven't, really haven't welcomed me in. I see many different groups, all headed in different directions, all one and the same end result, but all headed differently because of one thing or another, because you don't like this, you don't like that, you don't like him, you don't like her, you don't like this organization, you don't like the organization. Take a moment and think, what would General Lee or Stewart or some of the other major officers of the Southern Army think today of what is of the unity, of the lack of unity? They'd be upset. They'd be sad. So, as I understand, the officers in my division, the Gray Ghosts, they want to come together as one unit with others. Can we not set a date and a time for the persons in charge of all the various groups in the South and say, hey, let's have a sit down, let's have a powwow. Let's come together as one voice. I think you'd be surprised at the results of what would come out of that. Can you imagine those in the North, all of a sudden, here we are in the South coming up as one unit, as one voice, wanting the respect that we deserve? Could you imagine? Hey, Elizabeth Hickson, how you doing? I apologize for, you're coming in here at the tail end. This was a broadcast. Will it ever happen again? I doubt it. You know, to the degree that a separate nation, South and North, who knows? Look at what President Trump's trying to do. President Trump wants Canada as a 51st state. He wants Greenland as an additional state. He wants to bring Puerto Rico into the state. He wants the Panama Canal back in our name. He's changed the name of the Gulf. He changed the name of a mountain. Who knows what is possible if you put it together as one? But all the different organizations from the South working against each other, it would never happen. So, this is the first broadcast about the Gray Ghost. There will be more. I'll announce them as I get it together. Folks, if you have any questions, any comments, reach out to me. I am Colonel Randall Rhodes as my page is, or as my group is. It's All Roads Lead to Home Genealogy. So I'd like to thank David Nobar, Zach Rayla, Matthew Horn, Joe Guthier, John Ball, and finally Elizabeth Hickson. You're a new name for me. Thank you for coming in. If you want to, it's about an hour broadcast. Just do a rewind and you can watch it from the beginning. Folks, we can do it if we just stand side by side, hand to hand, shoulder to shoulder. This is Randy from All Roads Legal Genealogy and Colonel Randall Rhodes of the Carolina Gray Ghost Tarheel Division saying thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.